What is going on, guys? So I did me another algorithm. So similarly to the last one, I was having some problems. I I think I'm starting to learn something. All the medium job questions have to do with um dynamic programming. I think. So, for example, I this one was the jump game. Oh wait. Hold on 1 second. I wanted Novi to say hi, my cat, but she wandered off. That's all right though. So yeah, I noticed when I was doing this one, I had some problems with it. I ended up finding like a really convoluted solution that was not sufficient, and ended up timing out on leak code. Like, it took too long. So, anyways, I already knew this was gonna happen. I knew before I was doing it inefficiently. It had so many if statements, and I realized that I can make a tree out of it. And whenever can make a tree out of it, there's gonna be a way that's better than searching every single solution. Well, that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to search through every solution and then iterate down one to see if that worked. So if they had gave me like a huge array of numbers, it would just never work. It was just no. So, anyways, I got that bad answer. I stepped away from it for a couple hours. I did it when I was at work, and then I sat down and I busted through it really quick. Actually, after I knew, because it had taken me a while to get the solution that ended up not working. So like I had different ideas bouncing around in my head, like with saving the index. I knew like with like caching and stuff like that, and I was like, man, screw it, I'm not gonna bother with all that. And then I was like, well, yeah, I will. And I made an array of all the numbers that would work, but realistically, you only need one of the numbers that work. You just need to get to the one index on the array in which it can work. So, these right here are some base cases I got right here. Got some base cases for you guys. So basically, if it's one, or if the array has a length of 0, return true. If it has a uh, length of 1, return true, because obviously you're automatically at the last index. However, if num0 equals 0, return false, because you can't go nowhere if you can't jump on the beginning point. However, if you can't jump on the beginning point and it's the first index, then it's okay, because the first index, if it's the last index, then you don't need to jump. So then we go over here and we have our integer winning array, and I just set it to -1 because -1 was never going to be. You can't jump backwards, okay? It's not in the rules of the game, so the negative number would instantly signify that the value never changed, and that's a problem, and then you need to return false. So then I have it loop through the array one time. So that's all it takes, is just one singular loop. And we're going to go through it backwards because I might actually just pull up my drawing little tablet. I have like diagrams that I drew on paper, but I think I could probably just explain it. So if you, because I'm not really all that smart on it anyways. So if you have a tree and you only really care about one path, you can start from the base. So you can start at the end of the tree and you can work backwards. So that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to find all the indexes where I would be able to jump from. But the thing about it is you only really need to remember one index. And that is the index of the last number of the last. You only need to remember the index of the last index that can get you to the point that you need. So, say you have like say you have these numbers. So this number, or yeah, so I did this backwards. My bad, guys. Hold on. Let me rephrase this. Let me make this one 1. and then this one 3. So this is a winning index, and this is a winning index. So you don't need to remember this index because this one's closer. If you can get to this index from that, then you're good. And all you need to remember is this index. So whatever the closest one is. And if you go through the whole array and you figure it out. So if the value plus I is greater than the nums.length minus 1. So if the current index you are on right now and the distance you can jump, which is the value inside, is greater than the last index. So if you can make it from there, then you're good. But so yeah. So it takes into account for what index you're at and then how far you can jump. Else if so basically if this is saying right here is if the value plus index is greater or equal to the winning index. So basically, if from that index you can make it to the winning index, then all you need to remember is that closer index. And it goes through the whole loop backwards checking this. So I'll tell you the closest one that you need to get to win. So in this case, it's going to tell me that this is the closest one. So basically, it's saying if I can get to this space from the first one, then it wins. Because now we'll put in a 0 value. See? Alright, so now it's going to go backwards. Can I get it? No. Can this one get there? No. Can this one get there? No. And then that one cannot get there either. None of them can make it. So this instance, I would never change. Since I never changes, it hits this one. So yeah. I think that explains it though. The only reason why I knew that thing about trees is because I did a different problem that I just could not figure out. I could not figure it out. And then I looked up a video and they drew it all out for me. It was to buy and sell stock 1. That's what the video was, or the elite code question was in the 150 interview questions. But I did it before I ever started making these videos. So I knew from that because originally I drew like a little step ladder, and then the step ladder ended up becoming a tree because I realized that from each point I can make different decisions, so I can go down different paths, which makes a tree structure. And I knew from watching that video, if you work backwards on those tree structures, a lot of times you can do dynamic programming instead of caching every value. Because that's actually originally what I wrote. I wrote an array list that stored every index that you could win off of. But then I realized after I wrote the code that I'm only ever accessing the last one. So, realistically, all I need to do is save the last one. So I saved a lot of memory space by just having it like this. I'm trying to think of anything else there is to talk about this one. I don't really think there is, so I'm just going to cut it here. I'll catch you guys later. One thing that, I just really need to do is I just need to work through a textbook on algorithms. That's seriously what I really need to do. I think that would be for the best. I don't know yeah, whatever. I should probably work through one because it teach me a lot of good sorting methods. My algorithms would just be way more optimal. I'd be able to solve them no problem, and I'd just be a lot better. I'd understand linked lists, and I'd understand binary trees really good. So then I'd be able to smash out those easy ones, and then I'd be like through 50% of these bad boys. Man. But oh, yeah, one thing that's exciting, completely unrelated to the video, but I got a client. I got a client. Freelance client. Um, it's a local business here. They're a daycare and they just want a site that's basically like a flyer, advertisement flyer, but then they also want a blog attached to it so they can give parents updates and like direct them to resources. So that's kind of cool and exciting. I think how I'm gonna go about it is I'm gonna have it's gonna be overkill because I could just use like an MVC structure with Timeleaf and just have it all wrapped in one, and it would probably be faster to make. Um, it would probably it probably would, but I want the Angular experience. I want to be able to design a front end with Angular that looks nice. I'm gonna do another Spring Boot backend. I'm not gonna bother really pursuing too much Django or too much Express. Not really gonna. I'm not gonna push it on them. I think I'm gonna really just try and focus on Spring Boot framework. Focus on Java. It's gonna sound stupid. There's a lot of features in other languages that I like, but I think writing Java, it just flows out my fingers pretty naturally. Which is funny because like it's so method based and it can kind of look ugly. I think sometimes, but it does. It just flows out my fingers good. I think IntelliJ probably helped with that because it. I mean, it shows me all the stuff. I like it. I like Java. You know, I think I'm interested in other types of programming than just plain old web development and like web servers. You know, I'd like to branch into other things too, like maybe some mobile apps, branch into um, machine learning. I'm interested in neural networks. I know Python's really popular for that, but I'd probably just try and implement the same patterns with Java using Apache Common Math instead of like pandas and stuff like that. I think it'd be interesting. You know, I do. I think Java. I think Java's good. 20 years, they have a huge community, huge ecosystem. Maybe let me phrase that. Maybe not a huge community, but they got like 20 years of open source. Runs great on Linux. I want a Linux computer. I've run Windows now. One day. I mean, obviously I could just dual boot and then I could also have Linux, but like it's kind of dumb because then I would never run. I just run the Windows because everything I have is already installed on it. It just seems repetitive. Oh, but yeah, okay, I'll cut it now. But oh yeah, the client side website. Yeah, so I'll probably use Angular and Postgres and Spring Boot, um, which I think will be pretty dope. And then I'm gonna try and deploy it on AWS. I'm gonna try and use some AWS web servers or serverless cloud computing. So then I can add that to my resume too. And I'm actually super excited about this. I'm gonna meet with him tomorrow, so I'm gonna try and collaborate. And then I'm gonna smash it. I'm gonna go hard this weekend, and I'm gonna try and put it together. And then yeah, it's because the back end will go really smooth. The front end now I haven't made a Angular app yet, but we're about to. It'll be fun. All right, peace out, everybody.